And we've got some breaking news now out of New York, where a judge has found former President Donald Trump in contempt in the civil case over his business dealings. The judge found that Trump either didn't hand over documents that New York Attorney General Letitia James requested, or that he didn't conduct a sufficient search for them. NBC's Tom Winter has the latest on this. So, Tom, break it down for us. Why is this judge holding Trump in contempt, and what kind of impact is this going to have on him?
Right. So Judge Arthur Engoron making this decision after the Attorney General's office came forward earlier this month, Garrett, and said, and as you pointed out, that essentially here either the Trump Organization or the former president himself did not conduct a search that they deemed to be sufficient for documents, or did not turn over documents that were previously ordered to be handed over as part of this civil, not criminal, investigation being conducted by the Attorney General's office. And the judge came to the conclusion that the Attorney General's office did, which is that the president has not lived up to his legal obligations, and as a result will now have to pay $10,000 a day in court fines to the court for each day that he is not in compliance with this order. So that's where things go from here. This does not appear to have an immediate impact on the criminal investigation, which, as best we can tell, has had no overt investigative steps taken since the end of last year and appears to have stalled out, although the district attorney in Manhattan, who's primarily conducting that investigation, along with a couple of members from the AG's office, says that it remains ongoing.
Tom, is this the kind of thing that the former president could appeal or countersue? I mean, he likes to kind of tie these things up with more litigation, or are his options basically pay or comply?
He could certainly possibly appeal this, Garrett. I know that that doesn't make a lot of sense, but yes, it is possible that the president could appeal this. However, if in fact it's found out that after the appeals process has gone through that he was not in contempt, then perhaps these fines could be retroactive. And that's one of the things we're still trying to figure out, is whether or not this is retroactive to the date he was supposed to hand over the documents, or whether it's $10,000 a day going forward. I'm cheating and looking at my phone, but we're in the process. So somebody I just reached out to on this exact issue just texted me and said that they were seeking clarification on that as well, and the judge has not yet docketed an order. So that's something we're going to need to follow up on.
I know this is all happening in real time, so forgive me one more question, but do we think this means anything for the other targets, other folks who might have been swept up in these other investigations around the former president? Like, is this the kind of decision from a judge that might put additional pressure on other people who are maybe holding back on their disclosures? Good
question, Garrett. This is narrowly focused on the president himself, and it doesn't even apply to his company at this point. So this is squarely focused on the president and his specific legal obligations that the court has already determined he must live up to. So it's not going to go out any further than this at this point, though may serve notice to anybody else who's thinking of not complying with the judicial order that the judge here that's overseeing this ongoing litigation that has to do with the deposition, same judge that ruled the president himself must be deposed along with his daughter and one of his sons, that this judge is clearly willing to impose contempt of court fines and penalties and hold somebody in contempt of court should they in fact not live up to their obligations in the AG's case specifically, Garrett.